Alright, here I am with our April wrap-up. I don't do book hauls because I just don't see the point of them. I mean, you get a bunch of books and you haven't read them yet. So I'm just going to do the wrap-up instead of book hauls. We go every week to the library, so I'll have different clothes on throughout the video. That's why, because each week I don't wear the same thing every Saturday. Going to be a little bit different from others that way, because we're just going to give a quick wrap-up of what books we read that week and what we thought of them briefly. Inherit Midnight by Kate K. Myers is another one my husband liked. He highly recommends it. It was about a girl who didn't like the school she went to, and so she tried to escape. But then she got caught, and then her grandmother came up with this challenge that totally changed her life. He gave it 5 stars plus plus. This is Ford by Veronica Ross. It's about Ford's background, his initiation into Dauntless, and it has snippets from Divergent. It was kind of like going down memory lane. I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. Deadly Echoes by Nancy Mill. It's a cozy mystery, frankly. It's about parents who were murdered, and their 2 daughters survive by hiding in the basement. And then years later, the one sister gets murdered, and the other sister thinks it might be the same killer. And so she goes about looking into it and trying to figure out what happened. Exactly. And meanwhile, she has the 10-year-old daughter that her sister lost. And so she's living with her in a small town, trying to help the daughter through her loss of her parent. I gave this one 2 stars. This is Lucy Come Home by David Netta Jackson. Gerard read this, my husband. He gave it 4 stars, liked it. It's about a couple runaways from the carnival, and it moves along at a fast pace. This one is Run by Andrew Grant, another one my husband recommends. Gave it 5 stars. It's about a guy who works for a tech company, and then when he found out they let him go, he was very surprised. And that was only the beginning of his troubles. He runs into a lot more troubles. So we'll have to read the book to find out what those were. Secret Game by Scott Ellsworth. Gerard read this, gave it 4 stars. About 1940s in the South, about basketball, racial relations, and Duke University is connected with it. He liked it, 4 stars. Also read Survivors, Storm of Dogs by Aaron Hunter. Wild Pack of Dogs. Each had roles. There was dog interaction that he really liked. Again, Gerard read this book. He said it was fantastic. Gave it 5 plus stars. And I read Cold Fear by Rick Muffina. It's about a family of, parents and a daughter, 10-year-old daughter, go on a camping trip in Montana when the daughter didn't want to go. The girl gets lost in the woods. There's a convict on the loose, and family secrets. I did a whole video review on this book. I gave it 4 stars. It was good. This one is The 100 by Cass Morgan. This was recommended to me by a YouTuber, and I didn't like it. I mean, it was okay. It was okay, but I was disappointed in it. I expected better. I never watched the TV show, and on Amazon they said the show is very, very good. Way better than the book. And I didn't read the first 2, so maybe I would have liked it better if I had read the first 2 in the series. Next we have Finding Jake by Brian Reardon.
My husband and I both read this, and we liked it. It's about a school shooting. The parents get the phone call, there's a shooting at the school, they run over there. Their daughter's okay, they get reunited with her, but their son never shows up. The son's missing. No one knows where he is. No one knows if he's involved in the shooting or not, what happened to him. He can't be found. So that's what the whole story's about. It has suspense, and it's a good book. Good read. This is Lisa Unger's Crazy Love You. So it's a psychological suspense, romance. I didn't read it. My husband read it. He liked it. It's not one you'll soon forget.
You're going back to the library. The Daughter, which my husband read, by Jane Schmelt. 4 stars he gives it. It's about a missing daughter whose parents are very prominent doctors, and it flips back between now and later, which he didn't really care for that, because he liked the now part better. Then we have, favorite, Red Queen. This is one I recommended to my husband after I read it. It was one of my March favorites, by Victoria Aveyard, and we gave it 5 stars, both of us. It's dystopian, it's teen fantasy, very good book about betrayal, who can you trust, that type of thing. We have Inside the O'Briens by Lisa Genova. My husband read this one, he gives it 5++ stars. Very good book, and he says it's the book of his month so far. It's about a guy, a cop actually, who has Huntington's disease and how it affects him and his whole family, so you'll learn all about that. She also wrote Still Alice about Alzheimer's, and Left Neglected, which is a very unusual disease that was very interesting. We both liked all 3 of those books by her. This is Rites of Passage by Joy N. Hensley, recommended to me by Literally Tara, another booktuber. It's about a girl who attends a military school on a dare by her brother, and she goes through a lot of tough things because they try to get her to quit. So they're really hard on her. There's a secret society involved. Very good book. I gave it 4 stars. This is Every Day I Fight by Stuart Scott. This was an announcer on ESPN who had cancer, and it's his story about how it affected his family and how he dealt with it. My husband read this, gave it 5 stars. And we have The Kiss of Deception by Mary Pearson. Fantasy. It was a nice change of pace for me because I don't read that much fantasy. I really enjoyed it. It's funny, it's intriguing, you wonder which guy is this, if it's the prince or if it's the assassin that's after this runaway princess. I loved the princess. She was so feisty, and she was a rebel. She didn't want to go by the traditions, and so she didn't like the idea of a prearranged marriage just to keep their kingdoms at peace. She wanted to meet the guy first. Is that too much to ask? So I liked her. I liked the book. The only thing I didn't like is because it's a series. This is the first of a series. So now you have to wait for the second book to come out. I don't like that. But this book was good. I gave it 5 stars. This one, Under a Painted Sky by Stacy Lee. This was one my husband read and liked. He gave it 5 stars. And it's about 2 girls in 1849. One wants to be a musician in New York, but because of circumstances she's forced to go out west with a runaway slave who helps her. Okay, we have The Pocket Wife by Susan Crawford. This is one my husband read and liked. It's about a woman with bipolar disorder, married to a lawyer who pretty much makes her feel trivial, and She just feels like she doesn't count. And one day she finds a dead neighbor, and she wonders who killed her, and she's questioning if it might have been herself.